Rebirth, The Doctor's Sweet Wife Chapter 1, Come to 90. Chapter 1 Comes to 90. Nianyang, I will always love you, this is a soldier's promise, with the national flag as proof, for the rest of my life, Li Tingyan. Asterisk. Nianyang felt that her headache was about to explode, and her body seemed to be being roasted on a fire. She opened her eyes in a daze, and the picture that came into her eyes made her dumbfounded. In the dark and old room, there is not even a window, the air is extremely hot, and there is a disgusting sour and musty smell. The black adobe wall is covered with yellowed black and white newspapers, and there is a rusty iron porcelain cup on the opposite table with a missing arm and a broken leg. What is this place? Before Nianyang could react, a memory that did not belong to Nianyang suddenly flooded into her mind. She was originally the world's top bomb disposal expert and an excellent military doctor in the 21st century. She was helping special forces rescue innocent hostages kidnapped by criminal gangs outside the country, but was accidentally killed by a landmine buried in the soil. Reborn in a person with the same name as her. This is a township in the 1990s. The original owner, Gu Nianyang, had a very miserable life. My parents have been very partial to my elder sister Gu Yulan since she was a child. At Gu's house, her elder sister is treasure, younger sister is bran, elder sister eats meat, and younger sister can only drink vegetable soup. The original owner has been a slave in the family since he was sensible. Every day except for school, he does housework non-stop, and the clothes are always what his sister does not want. Because I have never eaten meat and fishy food, the original owner was malnourished and grew black and thin, like a telephone pole. 17 years old looks like 13 years old. The original owner was very cowardly and incompetent, and he didn't dare to make a fuss when he was bullied. With that little blood kinship in mind, he let the Gu family her blood like a tarsal maggot without any regrets. As a result, a series of tragedies were created for her later. The memory stayed. Nianyang looked down at himself, who was inexorable, as if a gust of wind could blow people away, and there was only one thought in his heart. Awful. The original owner is really miserable. The miserable child next door can't stand to cry. But since God gave her a chance to live again, Gu Nianyang, who is cowardly and incompetent from now on, has died. She has taken over the body of the original owner. Now she is the original owner. She will take care of the original owner one by one if she once harmed the original owner. Get it back. Through the memories just now, Nianyang knew that he had been reborn to a turning point in the fate of the original owner. On this day, the original owner was going to the school to take the preliminaries, but last night, his mother, Wang Ying, forced him to wash his clothes in the middle of the night in the rainy night, which caused the original owner to have a high fever, unable to take the preliminaries, and missed the college entrance examination next year. Dropped out of school and became a puppet of the Gu family and was allowed to be ravaged by it. The original owner's life gradually fell into from this day. Now that she's here, let's start changing from the root. She has to rush to the school to take the preliminaries. This time, she not only has to take the college entrance examination, but also the university of her dream. Quickly opened the dirty bedding covering his body, Nianyang supported his weak and hot body to the door, and saw a fist-sized lock hanging on it. In the original owner's memory, this lock was bought by Wang Ying in the town. In order to cut off the original owner's way, it was funny to say that this was the first time she took the initiative to spend money for the original owner. Nianyang didn't take this lock in his eyes at all. She could even remove a bomb, not to mention a mere door lock. His dark and agile eyes quickly circled the room. Finally, he found an embroidery needle in the broken wardrobe. After fiddling with the lock hole a few times, the lock fell with a click. As soon as Nianyang stepped out of the threshold, Wang Ying, who heard the movement, rushed over. "Damn girl, who allowed you to come out, get in and lie down for the old lady." Nianyang squinted at the bloated middle-aged woman in floral linen clothes and trousers in front of her. This is the eccentric mother of the original owner. Thinking of her torment to the original owner, she really wanted to rub her on the ground. But now is not the time. The tip of her tongue pressed against the wall of her mouth, and the girl's tender voice sounded slightly hoarse due to the high fever. "Mom, I have an exam today, why did you lock the door for me? Who made you so useless, and even got a high fever after washing clothes. I didn't lock the door because I was afraid that the cold wind would make the condition worse." Wang Ying's eyes flashed, and she said with some guilt. "Oh, afraid of the cold wind pouring in? I'm convinced even if this mentally handicapped excuse can be said." "Really? That's really thank you for your concern," Nian Yang said coldly, with ice fronts in his eyes. Wang Ying felt a sudden shock. She was really evil. Wasn't this dead girl timid like a mouse and didn't dare to speak loudly? Why did she dare to show her face when she woke up? Those eyes look really penetrating. And the lock, but the most difficult lock to unlock, can't be opened without a key. How did they get it open? Before Wang Ying could think clearly, Nian Yang strode out the door. "Dead girl, where are you going?" Wang Ying stood in front of Nian Yang vigilantly. "Today is the preliminary exam, of course I'm going to take the exam." "Exam? What kind of test are you going to take? You have such poor grades, you are an idiot who can't support the wall with mud. Don't go to school to be ashamed, and since you wake up, go to the yard to feed the pigs to my mother, and you are not allowed to go anywhere." Wang Ying screamed and scolded, and the spit was almost sprayed on Nian Yang's face. She and her eldest daughter had been planning for a month before they came up with a foolproof way to prevent the youngest daughter from taking the exam due to her high fever. They even spent 3 yuan to buy a lock, but it hurt her so much. If the dead girl goes to the exam, then wouldn't it be in vain? The most important thing is that if the stupid little girl who is as stupid as a pig is lucky enough to take the exam and pass the exam, and she has to go to the 3rd year of high school for a year, it will definitely waste the family's money. The money in the family is to be saved for her precious eldest daughter to go to college. The humble little daughter doesn't even want to spend a dime. She should serve their family like a dog. Want to take the exam? Dream. Nian Yang frowned. She had never seen such a vicious mother, as if the original owner was not her daughter but her enemy. Ignored Wang Ying, turned around and walked towards the back door. If she hadn't been afraid of wasting time, she would have taught Wang Ying a good lesson, and she would get this poisonous woman yelling in front of her. Wang Ying saw that her little daughter, who had always been obedient to her, dared to disobey her, and suddenly, like a fried hen, she stepped forward to grab Nian Yang's ponytail and pulled it back. "Little beast, why don't you understand what people say? I'll let you go and feed the pigs." Wang Ying shouted, raising her hand and hitting Nian Yang directly in the face. Over the years, she has become accustomed to beating and scolding Nian Yang at every turn. In her eyes, Nian Yang is her punching bag. Nian Yang was slapped unpreparedly. She was already thin and had a high fever. The slap almost made her faint on the spot. Nian Yang lived for 25 years in his previous life. When he was slapped in the face, his eyes turned cold, and he slapped Wang Ying back with a backhand. She doesn't care about the principles of her elders and parents. The original owner was cowardly and afraid of Wang Ying. "Ah! You who kills 1,000 knives, you dare to beat the old lady, don't you want to live? See if the old lady won't kill you today, a money loser." The little daughter who had been crushed by herself for more than 10 years slapped her in the face. Wang Ying, who was mad, rushed towards Nian Yang like she was going crazy, and was about to kill her. "I don't think it's you who don't want to live." Nian Yang sneered, and calmly showed the embroidery needle on his fingertips and stuck it at Wang Ying, who was pounced on. She is a Chinese medicine practitioner and knows acupuncture points in the human body very well, so she naturally knows where to pierce the other side and will cause pain. Wang Ying only felt Nian Yang's figure in front of her swayed quickly, and then a heart-piercing pain broke out all over her body. She fell to the ground and couldn't stop rolling, screaming out of her mouth. Nian Yang didn't have any fluctuations in his heart and even wanted to laugh a little, thinking that this pain is nothing, compared to what you did to the original owner. It was just a little interest she received. The time was running out, Wang Ying was ignored, and Nian Yang rushed out of the house. "Babies, come here and knock on the blackboard, because too many readers have said it later. I will explain to the little angel who is about to read this book. So please don't see similar bad street routines, just say I'm plagiarizing. I will delete this kind of post directly. It's not a guilty conscience, but I don't want to quarrel. It looks ugly, and it's easy to lead to war. Reading the text is enjoyable, not quarrel. Specially note that readers who have not spent money are not qualified to complain. those who have spent money will complain casually, those who swear by others will be deleted from comments, because those who swear by others will have no fortune, and the God of wealth hates those who have dirty mouths, for the sake of all of us. To make a fortune, so the author does not tear up, nor does it allow you to tear up. Let's walk into the era of peace together, love you. The author Jean Nan is very scumbag, the writing has no logic, and I don't know much. If you think the chronology I wrote is rubbish, that I don't understand that this era is scribbling, the promotion plot is not in line with the rules, and the writing is naive, the plot is, then congratulations, you are right, we have 3 different views, don't force us to be together, I have already written stupidly and will be scolded so much, so you have pity on me, don't spray me, okay? As long as you don't spray me, I will pray for you and wish you a great fortune. The male protagonist fell in love with the female protagonist at first sight, goodbye fell in love, and the third met directly to the door to propose marriage. The emotional line in this era develops very quickly, like a rocket, so don't say anything inexplicable and fall in love. If you really want to ask the reason, probably this is the female main halo/male main halo. I am the author Nan Fenglai, and Banchue readers call me Janan. Actually I don't agree. Soft and cute readers call me Nan Fong Sister, and sweet-mouthed Nan Fong Fairy, but in fact, I prefer you to call me Big Pig's Hoof. End of this chapter. Rebirth, The Doctor's Sweet Wife. Chapter 2, Eloquent. Chapter 2, Tactful. In the scorching heat of July, the temperature seemed to burn people. Nianyang ran to the road in one breath, but only saw the bus emitting exhaust. It was the only transportation to the town at noon, and she was still a step late. Nianyang's face turned pale, and it would take at least half an hour to run from here to school, it would be too late. What to do? Is she going to repeat the mistakes of the original owner in the previous life? Drip. The horn of the car behind him blared. Nianyang turned around in surprise and saw a military jeep galloping. This is really timely rain, Nianyang greeted the jeep that drove straight ahead without hesitation. Who? The driver was obviously startled, the conditioned reflex hit the brakes, and the moment the car stopped, Nianyang quickly opened the rear door and rushed in. Who let you in? As soon as Nianyang sat in, he felt that the touch was not right, and before he could feel the smell, a cool magnetic voice got into Nianyang's ears. Nianyang fought a cold war, feeling that the temperature on his body dropped. In front of him is a handsome man with neatly combed short hair, a full forehead, soared eyebrows reaching into the temples, black eyes as cold as a sharp edge, under the bridge of the tall nose, and the thin lips tightly pursed to show his innocence at this time. Joy. The man was dressed in a bright green military uniform, with a stern face and a dignified appearance. He exuded a soldier-like iron and aura, full of alienation and indifference. The warm golden sunlight shone through the car window, and the metal of the man's military uniform glowed dazzlingly. Nianyang took a look. Good guy, he is still the positive commander. What are you still doing? Hurry up on him and own him. A soft and cute little milk voice suddenly sounded in his mind, so scared that Nianyang almost didn't scream. Who is speaking? How long do you want to sit on my lap? Li Tingyen spoke again, his voice low and mellow, with a hoarse texture. When Nianyang looked at him, he also took a look at Nianyang from top to bottom. The girl was wearing a washed and whitish school uniform. Her face was not very good looking at first, but her foundation was excellent, her facial features were exquisite and beautiful, but her face was yellow and thin, her body was dry and light like a cat. Nianyang realized that he was sitting on the man's lap, no wonder he felt strange. I'm sorry. It's really embarrassing, why is the dog blood sitting on someone's lap? In this innocent age when holding hands and being responsible to the end, the other party won't think she's a hooligan, right? Nianyang got down from his thigh in a hurry, ignoring the little milky voice that just appeared. The sharp bronzed hands meticulously smoothed the wrinkles on the trousers, and the thin and cool lips touched each other. Get out. He never liked to be in close contact with people. If it wasn't for his habit of not hitting women, Nianyang would have been kicked out by him. Nianyang's small face stiffened, thinking how fierce this person is. She blinded this good face. If it wasn't for the situation, she would definitely roll her eyes at him. This handsome. Suddenly, it seems that the name of handsome guy has not started to become popular in this era. What should a soldier be called? Nian Yang thought for a while, leaned forward slightly with both hands on Li Tingjian's thighs, and said close to his ear, "Hello Brother Bing, I'm a student in the town's middle school, and now I'm going to take a very important exam, it's too late. Now, can you do a good deed and send me a trip?" The girl's voice was as soft as a cat's meow, the heat from her small mouth breathed into his ears when she spoke, and Li Tingjian's heart moved fiercely. Now is the era of great defense between men and women. Even if the title between husband and wife should not be too intimate, they usually call him on the surface, but she actually called him Brother Soldier, a nickname that only belongs to lovers in private. Yellow-haired girl, she's so daring. He lowered his eyes to look at her, the little girl's dark cheeks were covered with red marks, and when she saw that she had been beaten, Li Tingyan clenched his heart and his palms moved violently, he wanted to reach out and touch her face. The sudden thought made him jump, and he immediately clenched his hands into fists. He has always been cold, but it was just a film of a little girl who didn't even grow her hair. He couldn't help feeling pity. This kind of feeling is really strange. You must know that when he was training new recruits in the army, the wolf cubs under his hands were covered with scars, and only one breath was left, but he didn't even blink an eye. Li Tingyan didn't speak. Wang Donglai, who was wearing a sentry suit in front of him, turned around and said, "Hello, little comrade, we are a military vehicle, not a private car, and we are in a hurry. You should find someone else to send you." "What happened to the military vehicle?" "It is because you are soldiers that the people should draw their swords to help when they are in trouble. Don't they all say that the military and civilians are one family? We are one family. It's not normal for our family to help our family." Nian Yang started the crazy brainwashing mode. You must know that in her past life, she also built a business empire in her spare time, and opened different branches under it. Years of polishing in the workplace have made her a tongue-in-cheek tongue, talking to people and talking to ghosts. Welcome to follow. Author QQ, 4852744081. Authors Weibo, South Wind Comes. End of this chapter. Rebirth, The Doctor's Sweet Wife Chapter 3, Eloquent. Chapter 3 Eloquent. Wang Donglai is stunned. "I am a good boy, he has never seen a girl who can talk like this, she is like a cannonball, he is so stupid that he can't let out a fart, so he can only look at his commander for help." Li Tingyan was still expressionless, but he was thinking in his heart, this yellow-haired girl is not only courageous, but also quite articulate, but she really likes him, much more interesting than those pretentious little girls. Then do you know that even close relatives and family members who obstruct military affairs should be held accountable according to law? Li Tingyan stared at Nianyang coldly, but his casual tone gave people a sense of majesty that looked down on the world and was inviolable. Nianyang met the dark eyes of the man, and her heart shivered violently, thinking that she had never seen any storms and waves in her previous life, but she was inexplicably a little scared of this old cadre in front of her. "Do you want her face when it is spread out?" Blinked, Nianyang didn't know how to answer, but was interrupted by Wang Donglai's shocked voice, "Ah! I remembered, aren't you Gu Nianyang, the silly second girl who lives in the Gu family in the large courtyard in the east of Shandong?" Silly area? Nianyang was stunned for a while, then thought that the original owner did have such a reputation in the town. Because the original owner was sluggish and autistic, he didn't like to greet people, he was afraid to do anything, and his academic performance was also very poor. In addition, with the comparison of Gu Yulan, a variety of smart sisters in outerwear, everyone naturally felt that the original owner was stupid. Nianyang rolled his eyes and said in a familiar voice, "Oh, I also remembered, you are brother Donglai, the son of Uncle Dadao in the west of town. Uncle Dadao is a famous butcher in this township. The original owner has been buying pork from Uncle Dadao in the past few years, and has had some interactions with Wang Donglai, but after Wang Donglai became a soldier, the original owner's impression of him faded. Yeah, I haven't seen you for 3 years, I didn't expect you to remember me." Wang Donglai said with a smile, and at the same time looked at Nianyang several times in amazement. And the little hairy girl who was always hunched over her chest and hunched her back 3 years ago, who was timid when she did things, and who always spoke like a mosquito. It seems that time is really magical, and it can make a person's personality change dramatically. Is it enough? Seeing Nianyang and Wang Donglai chatting happily, Li Tingjian's breath suddenly became sharp, and even the air pressure in the car dropped suddenly. Wang Donglai immediately realized that his commander was unhappy, probably because he didn't like to be ignored, and immediately said with a lively atmosphere, "By the way, Gu area, let me introduce you, this is the commander of my unit, speaking of which you still have some relationship with commander, your fiancé Zhang Jiqiang's and his commander Li's distant cousin Fong Lan." After Wang Donglai mentioned it like this, Nian Yang remembered that there was indeed a cheap fiancé in the name of the original owner. Is that so? It's really flooded the Dragon King temple today. Since there is such a fate, it's better for you to be accommodating, brother warlord, and let me rub your car. Nian Yang said with a smile, a cute face. Li Tingyan stuck out his tongue. So cute. Li Tingyan's heart suddenly came up with this thought, and it even made his heart itch. But thinking that she was actually the fiancée of another man, Li Tingyan's eyebrows wrinkled into mountains and rivers involuntarily, and his mood became inexplicably irritable. There is no time. Li Tingyan spit out 2 words without any room, and the unfeeling and unreasonable nature is intolerable. Nian Yang is so depressed, he said it himself, this general's brother is too unreasonable. Hey, how can you find a daughter-in-law with such a cold heart? She looked at Wang Donglai helplessly, and Wang Donglai showed a helpless expression. Nian Yang is anxious, the exam will start in 20 minutes, she has to take this bus to catch up. In the midst of the wind, Nian Yang stared at Li Tingjian's thigh and said, "Brother Bing, your legs were eroded by cold air 3 years ago, leaving serious sequelae, which happens once a month, right?" Li Tingjian's pupils shrank, and Nian Yang's expression suddenly became cautious. "How do you know?" "Nian Yang, I know medicine, as long as you send me to school now, I can cure the cold in your legs." "Really?" Li Tingyan raised his eyebrows, but he felt a little disapproving in his heart. Because Nian Yang is just a little girl with yellow hair, how could she possibly know medical skills? And how can there be a doctor who can judge the patient's condition without even touching the pulse? I guess the yellow-haired girl is a blind cat and a dead mouse. Commander Li at this time had no idea how much he would be slapped in the face later. "Really?" Nian Yang nodded vigorously, looking at Li Tingyan eagerly. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Go to the town's middle school. Li Tingyan said to Wang Dong, not knowing what was going on, looking at Nian Yang's pitiful little eyes, he really couldn't bear to refuse. "Okay." Wang Donglai responded and stepped on the accelerator immediately. 10 minutes later, the jeep stopped, Nian Yang hurriedly said thank you, and rushed out of the car door without looking back, heading straight for the school. "Commander Li, let me tell you, you didn't know when you came to us for the first time. Gu area has changed so much, she was such an autistic little girl before." Wang Donglai smeared Nian Yang's back. Sigh. Hearing Wang Donglai's tone, Commander Li was inexplicably upset, as if his own possessions were coveted. Li Tingjian's narrow eyes darkened a bit. "Why, do you fancy someone?" Commander Li's eyes are so terrifying, it seems that if he nods his head, he will immediately break his neck. Cold threatening words made Wang Donglai immediately sit upright and gave Li Tingyan a military salute. "Report Commander, I only have the team and the country in my heart." The pressure in Commander Li's eyes quickly disappeared, and he gave an order, "Return to the station." End of this chapter. Rebirth, The Doctor's Sweet Wife Chapter 4, Scumbag Slaps in the Face 1. Chapter 4 Abuse of Scumbags 1. Nian Yang rushed into the examination room in a hurry. For such a major examination, students must enter the examination room 10 minutes earlier, and Nian Yang happened to be stepping on the bell when he entered the door. Li Jiangwen, the head teacher, looked dissatisfied. "Gu Nian Yang, it's okay to say that your grades are poor. Why are you almost late for such an important exam?" Nian Yang apologized profusely. "I'm sorry Teacher Li, I'll pay attention next time." Li Jiangwen was stunned for a moment, and couldn't help but looked at Nian Yang strangely. This student has been alone since the beginning of the school year. He never took the initiative to greet teachers and classmates. He didn't say anything when he failed the exam and was scolded. He always had his hair down and looked sloppy and gloomy. Why is it a little different today? Nian Yang's face was calm, and he came to his seat according to the test number. As soon as he sat down, a girl with a few freckles on her face couldn't hold back her shocked voice. Gu Nianyang, why are you here? Nianyang glanced at the girl, and quickly sorted out the girl's information in her mind. Yang Haiyan, the study committee member of the original master class, is also Gu Yolan's good best friend. Relying on the original master's stupidity, and because of Gu Yolan's deliberate incitement to guide her, she has bullied the original master openly and secretly in the past. Nianyang's eyes were cold. Shouldn't I come for the preliminaries today? Yang Haiyan smiled guilty. No, I just asked casually. What's the matter? Gu Yulan clearly told her that Gu Nianyang won't come to the exam today. And this stupid pig even had her hair tied up, her facial features looked even better than her own, and the most important thing was that she dared to talk back. She was completely different from the cowardly look of the past few days. Yang Haiyan stared straight at Nianyang, her chest heaving up and down with anger. She could not wait to jump up and give Nianyang a meal, because she couldn't have a seizure at the test site. Nianyang of course knew how Yang Haiyan felt, and she smiled calmly. I'm surprised, but don't worry, this is just the beginning, the real good show is yet to come. She won't let go of anyone who has harmed the original owner. Exam begins. Because it is only a preliminary examination, not a formal college entrance examination, so only 3 subjects of Chinese, mathematics and English are taken. In order to save money, the school still combines the key questions of the 3 subjects into one test paper. Although Nianyang did not take the college entrance examination in her previous life, she had also learned from the old doctor in the military region for several years, not to mention that she has unforgettable skills. High school topics are simply a piece of cake for her. Nianyang made the test paper perfectly without any effort. She didn't plan to lower the score on purpose to avoid suspicion because of the original owner's poor grades. Because she has already thought about it, if everyone doubts her grades, it is because Gu Yulan does not want to be compared by her excellent grades, so she instigates and forces her bad grades, and throws the blame on Gu Yulan. Gu Yulan's reputation is ruined, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Gu Yulan has done so many vicious things to the original owner in the past. Nianyang has to let her taste the feeling of being misunderstood and contemptuous. Asterisk. Nianyang handed in the papers and left in advance, and she was ready to go home and fight. When she came out at noon, she cleaned up Wang Ying, and Wang Ying definitely wanted to kill her in her heart. And Wang Ying didn't succeed in preventing her from taking the exam. She would definitely not be reconciled. Nianyang guessed that Wang Ying would make a big fuss about her beating her up and ask the neighbors to help and scold her, and then Wang Ying could logically force herself to drop out of school. As expected, as soon as he walked to the gate of the courtyard, he heard Wang Ying's harsh voice crying in the courtyard. My God, Gu area, who chopped off her head on her back, I just asked her to do some housework for me, but she slapped me and pushed me to the ground and beat me up. The pain is so painful that I can't stand upright. Fellow villagers and friends, how can there be children in the world who beat their parents? What kind of sin have I done? End of this chapter. Rebirth, The Doctor's Sweet Wife Chapter 5, Scumbag Face 2. Chapter 5 Slag Slap in the Face 2. Although he had been prepared for a long time, after hearing what Wang Ying said, Nianyang's heart froze for a while, and it was not worth feeling distressed for the original owner. The original owner lived in a large courtyard in the east of the town. There were not only the Gu family in the yard, but also other neighbors. There were a lot of people in the countryside. Wang Yinghao's voice will definitely cause a sensation. The country people of this era are all about filial piety. If a child is disrespectful to their parents, they will be scolded at the spine. The original owner has been a cow and a horse for the Gu family for more than 10 years, but Wang Ying did not hesitate to slander the original owner in public for his own selfish interests. He simply wanted to ruin the original owner's reputation. I've had blood mold for 8 lifetimes. As expected, when they heard Wang Ying's howling in the courtyard, everyone pushed open the door and walked out. After learning that Wang Ying was beaten by her weak and incompetent daughter, they all said they couldn't believe it. Aunt Gu, are you looking at the wrong person? Your second girl is so timid, she can't hear her words, how could she beat you? The one who spoke was the golden widow who lived next door. Gossiping with the women around her, she is notoriously long-tongued. Seeing that everyone didn't believe it, Wang Ying screamed louder, "Oh sin, can I misread my own girl? Actually, you were all deceived by my second girl." She usually pretends to be quiet on the outside, but she's actually twisted on the inside. She often talks back to me at home, and makes her lose her temper when she does something. She is not as big as my family, and today she even more aggressive and beat me directly. It really cost me my life," said. Wang Ying twisted her waist again and cried out in pain. That painful expression doesn't seem to be fake. Everyone has to be convinced. If you want me to tell me, how can a mother slander her own daughter? I think 80% of us have missed the point. It turns out that the two girls from the Gu family are quite serious. Oh, it's really outrageous. No matter how rebellious these two girls are, they can't beat their own mother. This is a great filial piety violation of Zhu Sun. Aunt Gu, I'll wait for your second girl to come back later. We have to talk to her properly. Who's calling me? Nian Yang walked into the big guy's sight with a cowardly look on his back. It was the first time that the neighbors heard Nian Yang speak loudly. The girl's voice was sweet and waxy. The Mandarin pronunciation was very standard, and there was no local accent. It was like the female anchor talking on the tape. Her hair is tied up. Before, she always had her hair disheveled. Everyone thought she was not good looking. Now it seems that Gu Aria's facial features are so delicate and beautiful. If her skin could be whiter, she would definitely be in this town the most beautiful girl. However, everyone's attention quickly returned to the topic, and they asked aloud invariably. Second girl of the Gu family, what's the matter with you? How can you beat your mother? That's right, it's not my aunt. I told you, you are so old. What's the matter with helping your mother do some housework? Look at your mother's toss, that's your own mother. Second girl from the Gu family, your mother has worked so hard to raise you. Back then, you sold your land to make a living. Why can't you be as sensible as your sister? Neighbors, you reprimanded me one by one. Wang Ying glared at Nian Yang proudly, thinking that it would be no use even if the cheap hoof rushes to the exam, and in the end, she still has to drop out of school obediently and be a bull and a horse for the Gu family. Wait for everyone to help me clean up enough for you. See if I don't lock you up and beat me to death. How dare I slap my mother? It won't kill you. Nian Yang said with red eyes and choked up. Uncles and aunts, you have misunderstood. How dare I hit my mother? It was my mother who hit me. She knew I was going to take the exam tomorrow, and last night forced me to stay in the rainy night washing clothes, made me have a high fever, didn't give me medicine, and wanted to lock me in the house to prevent me from taking the exam, but fortunately I ran fast. Otherwise I wouldn't be able to study for the senior year or university. What? Everyone was shocked. They didn't expect such a shocking inside story. Wang Ying actually wanted to let her wash clothes in the rain in order to prevent her little daughter from taking the exam, so that her little daughter had a high fever without taking medicine. Isn't this harmful? And Gu Nianyang is a sophomore in high school this year. Seeing that he will be admitted to the university in another year, if he can be admitted to the university this year, it will be a good thing for his ancestors to smoke. How can Wang Ying be ruthless to stop it? I really didn't see it. I see that Wang Ying usually attaches great importance to the eldest daughter's schooling. Why is she so biased when it comes to the younger daughter? Isn't this little daughter her own? You bastard! What nonsense are you talking about? How dare you say it again? Wang Ying heard that Nian Yang didn't recognize what she said as before, and she dared to bite back and say in public that she stopped her from taking the exam and beat her things, suddenly roared into anger. Cough. Although the recommended ticket is less than 500, I still add more. See you tomorrow. End of this chapter. Rebirth, The Doctor's Sweet Wife Chapter 6, Scumbag Face 3. Chapter 6. Wang Yingji, because of her reputation, is not willing to let everyone know that she abused her little daughter, so the oppression of her little daughter is behind her back. The original owner was in his previous life until his death, and no one knew Wang Ying's true face. So today, let her help the original owner expose the mask of this poisonous woman and mother. A cold light flashed quickly in Nian Yang's eyes. She shrank her neck and looked terrified, her teeth bit her lower lip desperately, and the tears she held back kept rolling in her eyes. Mom, did I say something wrong? Didn't you make the slap print on my face? Didn't you force me to do laundry last night? It rained so hard last night, you locked me in the yard and didn't let me in. I was soaked all over. Keep saying that you don't care if it's cold, and finally you don't carry me into the house until I faint. I know, you just don't want me to continue to study, you want me to drop out of school to farm at home, save money for my sister to study, and it's your daughter, why are you so partial? You are drinking closely to my sister. I have never even eaten an egg when I grew up. Mom, I can bear all these. I just want to study. As long as you let me continue to study, I can listen to you in everything, and whatever you do in the future, I will never cry and let the neighbors hear about your reputation. You. Wang Ying was choked, a mouthful of blood stuck in her throat, and she couldn't get up or down. This had a fever and learned to sue. This is to discredit the Gu family. Hearing Nian Yang's words, the neighbors were completely refreshed. They never thought that Wang Ying would treat her little daughter like this behind the scenes, and according to the meaning of the second girl of the Gu family, Wang Ying often beat her. And in order to maintain her reputation, why don't you let the girl cry? I didn't expect Wang Ying to be so vicious, even the stepmother didn't do this. Just at this moment, Gu's father, Gu Yuandao, came back from work, and everyone started talking at once. Uncle Gu, you've come back. Who is in charge of your family? Your daughter-in-law made someone have a fever in order to prevent Arya from studying for the exam. Look at your little daughter being beaten on the face. Nian Yang is a big girl and has a fever. Your daughter-in-law has also done it. Aren't you afraid of ruining your second girl's face? Arya and your eldest girl are both daughters. I usually see you talking to your eldest girl, why are you so harsh on the younger girl? There is no limit to this bias. Gu Yuandao's face flushed, everyone misunderstood, how could we abuse our little daughter, our family has always treated the same. As he spoke, he gave Wang Ying a secret look, what's wrong with this woman, doesn't she hide her beating and scolding her little daughter all the time? Why is it so popular today? It is rumored that he still wants to be a human being. Dad, can you help me persuade my mother to let me continue to study? If you don't want to spend money on me, I'm willing to cut the ration by half every day, do more housework, and serve you like a cow and a horse. Nian Yang's mouth was Ai's mouth, her bloodless lips trembled slightly, looking weak and pitiful, it was really heart-wrenching. As for Gu Yuandao, in the original owner's memory, he was very indifferent to the original owner and never cared about the original owner. Every time Wang Ying abused the original owner, he would not join in, but would not stop him, but one thing was that he was a farmer in the town. Working in the factory is even better than Wang Ying do. Nian Yang publicly accused Wang Ying of his evil deeds, and if he didn't believe Gu Yuandao, he would still turn a blind eye. The neighbors were even more powerful, and they spoke to Nian Yang, who was grieved. Uncle Gu, your family is too good at doing things. That's your daughter. It's not easy to go to university these days. How can you force people to drop out? It's not a famine now. You are also working in the factory. Your salary should be 40 to 50 yuan a month, right? It's not that you can't afford your daughter to study. I saw your daughter-in-law buy 3 sets for your eldest daughter the day before yesterday. The new dress. Do you still treat them equally? Why don't you see your daughter-in-law and let your eldest girl drop out of school? Your family's second girl is living such a hard life, can you know that as a father? Look at the thin second girl, you will let your daughter-in-law spoil your little girl. Gu Yuandao was so ashamed that he couldn't raise his head. He wished there was a hole in the ground that he could crawl into. He couldn't help but complain about what happened to his little daughter today. He is usually not very sensible. How can she expose her mother's face in front of so many people? Yang, don't talk nonsense, how could your mother not let you study? You misunderstood her meaning, go home with dad. Gu Yuandao said that he was about to come up and pull Nian Yang into the room. If you can't afford to lose this person, you must immediately take the person home and shut the door and talk about it. No matter what, you can't take out the family's affairs and publicize it. Nian Yang took a step back and shouted in a choked voice, I'm not going home, if I go back with you, not only will you not let me continue to study, but you will beat me and not give me food, I am not afraid of being beaten or hungry, anyway, I'm used to being hungry, and I'm just afraid that I won't be able to go back to school. Stinky girl, you're going to die, when will the old lady not give you food? Wang Ying yelled angrily, this morning star was so arrogant when he beat her at noon, it would be a pity for Bo's sympathy. At this time, Gu Yulan, who came back from the exam, heard the story, and quickly walked up to Nian Yang with a change of face and took her hand. Yang Yang, what are you doing? How could your parents not let you continue your studies? End of this chapter. Rebirth, The Doctor's Sweet Wife Chapter 7, Scumbag Face 4. Chapter 7. Nian Yang stared at the girl in a sea blue plaid skirt and oval face with slender eyes. This is the original owner's White Lotus sister with a heart like a poisonous scorpion. Thinking that the original owner in the previous life had taken care of her, even if her parents were partial, the original owner never complained, and even tried every means to save money to buy delicious food for Gu Yulan. The original owner was sincere, but in return, Gu Yulan asked for it from the original owner even more naturally, and even Zhang Jiqiang, the fiancé that the original owner had agreed to, was seduced by her with all her might. Gu Yulan was trembling when she saw Nian Yang's cold eyes. She forced a smile and said, Yang Yang, did you listen to someone? Don't get me wrong, our mother must feel sorry for you, she is the last one. We are worried about going to college next year, and my temper will inevitably be a little bigger. Last night, I asked you to do laundry because my mother's menstrual period was uncomfortable. I happened to fall asleep again. It was unexpected that it rained later, and we didn't think of you. You will suddenly have a fever and faint, and as for stopping you from taking the exam, that's even more of a problem. You have to forgive our mother. Gu Yulan knows the art of speaking very well. She said a sentence as if Nian Yang was making trouble out of nowhere. Looking at Gu Yulan Xiaoji's performance with emotion and reason, Nian Yang sneered in his heart, when she was still the stupid original owner. Such poor acting skills are too embarrassing to show off in front of her. After all, she lived for 25 years in her previous life, so it's not for nothing to watch the little white flowers in so many palace fighting dramas. And didn't you, Gu Yulan, win the love of the neighbors by pretending to be an elegant, gentle and intimate sister? Now, let's see how she takes off the mask of her good sister little by little, and then repays what Gu Yulan did to the original owner. Nian Yang can act better than Gu Yulan. Sister, you don't have to lie to me. If mom really wants me to take the exam, why did she buy a lock to close the door? She knew that I had a high fever and beat me, but she didn't buy me any medicine. Every time you catch a cold, mom is so nervous to take you to the clinic. Gu Yulan's expression froze, and Nian Yang pursued the victory and continued, and what does mom do to me, sister, don't you know? Obviously I'm the sister, but I have to keep doing housework since I was a child, and I'll be beaten if I'm lazy. Mom said that girls want their hands to be very important and can't be soaked in water, so she never lets you do housework, but treats me as a slave. Am I not a girl? My hands are also forced to wash clothes in cold water in the big winter. The frostbite is itchy, and there is no good skin, but sister, your hands are white and tender, and because I have never eaten a meaty bite, I almost fainted due to malnutrition in physical education classes several times. How can I understand? Nian Yang said that in the end, his own emotions have been substituted into the original owner, and the grievances against his parents came up, and tears fell. The eyes of the surrounding neighbors were all red. They had lived together in this compound for decades, and they never imagined that the second girl of the Gu family would live such a life as pigs and dogs. The two of the Gu family are really nothing. This is no longer biased, it is simply apparent in vain. Gu Yuandao was sweating coldly as he looked at him with contempt. He didn't know how to solve the situation in front of him. If he didn't try to explain it clearly, the story of his abuse of his little daughter would spread throughout the town tomorrow. Gu Yulan was stunned. Gu Nianyang in front of her seemed to be a different person. She was so imposing when she spoke. She had a soft bun character with what she said to herself before, and she was completely different. Gu Yulan suddenly felt a sense of crisis. She felt that she might not be able to control Gu Nianyang anymore. After regaining her senses, Wang Ying turned towards Nian Yang when she saw the wind direction, and immediately explained anxiously, "Neighbors, don't believe the words of this stubborn girl. She is pouring dirty water on me, and I am her own mother, how can I not do hurt her? Letting her do housework is just training her, not giving her meat and fishy food is just because she is afraid that she will gain weight and no one wants it, as for beating her often, that's nothing." Gu Yulan said, "Yeah, Yang Yang, how can you slander your mother? Mom is a real mother and not a stepmother. Even if I beat you, it's just a small fight. How can we daughters still hold grudges against our mother? Nian Yang laughed angrily, and rolled up his cuffs directly to reveal the bruises on his arm that Wang Ying had left behind when he beat the original owner. Sister, do you think this is a petty fight? Mom only beat me to death, and I almost got a discount last time. I broke my leg, you watched me when I was beaten, I knelt on the ground and cried and begged you to save me, but you were eating melon seeds and watching a play. Mom didn't treat me as a daughter, and you didn't treat me be a sister. When everyone saw Nian Yang's exposed scars, they were immediately angry. Oh, the Gu family is really not a thing. It doesn't matter if you want to put your daughter to death, it hurts when I look at it. That's right, the home and everything are prosperous in the usual clothes, but who knows that the heart is crooked, and the poor second girl of the Gu family is tortured and has no shape. It seems that this Gu Daya is not a good thing. She usually acts like a sensible person. In front of the big guy, she is a good sister. I thought she was a good sister. I didn't expect to see her sister being beaten. Ignore it if you're half dead, it's poisonous. Hearing everyone's words, Gu Yulan was too embarrassed to raise his head. Is over. Their well-maintained reputation and image have been completely destroyed. When the lie was exposed, Wang Ying's face flushed, and she shouted at the top of her voice, yes, I did beat her, and that's because she was ignorant and angry with me. And this dead girl beat me first at noon today. Me. What the hell, as her mother, I provide her food and clothing, don't I have the qualifications to educate her? Another fat chapter. Well, today I have an appointment to deal with the signing of the spoiled pet. After I change my status next week, I will start to rush to the new book list immediately. Little pig hooves, let's be restless, please vote and comment for encouragement, today's goal is 800 votes, be careful. End of this chapter. Rebirth, The Doctor's Sweet Wife Chapter 8, Space Plugin 1. Chapter 8 Space Plugin 1. Gu Yulan had an idea, and followed the blame. Yang, you are usually eccentric and ungroupable, and you often talk back at home and don't care, how can you do something to Mom? You can see that Mom's face turns white, no wonder Mom will give birth today. So angry, you are so disappointing to my sister. Gu Yulan's expression of hating iron is not steel, which makes people see it, as if all this was messed up because Nianyang was ignorant, and the Gu family were just educating their disobedient daughter. Gu Yuandao and Wang Ying secretly breathed a sigh of relief. The eldest daughter is still sensible and knows how to round the field, so that the faces of the two old men are not so ugly. Nianyang had already left her back. I didn't hit my mother, she hit the slap on my mother's face, and it was my mother who fell to the ground, deliberately slandering that I beat her. She just wanted to take advantage of the situation to make the neighbors they suppressed me, so it was logical that they would not let me study. Wang Ying was dumbfounded, how could this know her plan? Damn it, she obviously didn't say anything. And the dead girl dares to beat her down. Wang Ying was furious, fuck your mother, when did the mother say that? Obviously you slapped the mother and pushed the mother to the ground and beat her, you are an unfilial daughter. Neighbors saw that the two mothers and daughters were insisting on their own words, and they didn't know how to stand in line. Nianyang glanced at the hesitant people. Mom, you have wronged me, I have been beaten by you since I was a child, how dare I beat you, and you are so strong, how could I push you to the ground? If you don't believe me, let Li Erbo come. Check to see if you have any injuries. Li Er is a barefoot doctor in this township. Usually, someone in the town has a cold and fever, and he is reluctant to spend money to see a doctor in the clinic, so he will go to him to give him a prescription. Wang Ying was still in a panic of pain. Hearing this, she couldn't wait to say, okay, I'll find someone to call Dar. Li to show me. Don't look for it, the old man has heard it. Li Er, who had a bald brain, passed the door with a jug full of wine, and came in immediately when he heard someone call him. Uncle Li, could you please help my mother to see how her injuries are? Gu Yulan said obediently, vividly portraying a filial daughter who cares about her mother, making everyone's impression of her warmer. Li Er nodded, and stepped forward to check on Wang Ying. While Wang Ying was moved by her eldest daughter's caring towards her, she scolded Nianyang viciously, damn girl, wait until the facts are proved, let's see how the old lady will deal with you. Gu Yulan saw Wang Ying's confident appearance, and was already convinced that what Wang Ying said must be true. The father and daughter were relieved immediately, their reputation was immediately preserved, and they were waiting to see Nianyang's fate being accused by thousands of husbands for a while. Who knows the next second, but he heard Li Er say, "Aunt Gu, your body is fine, on the contrary, you are very healthy, nothing at all." As soon as these words came out, the expressions of Gu Yuandao, Gu Yulan and Wang Ying froze. "Fart!" Wang Ying said angrily, "Are you going to see a doctor? The old lady is obviously in severe pain, how can there be nothing wrong? Look at how angry you are, how can you look injured? The old man advises you to eat less oily meat and let your little daughter nourish her body." Li Er snorted coldly, turned his head and left. He even dared to question his medical skills, and he decided that he would not see a doctor for the Gu family in the future. Nianyang squinted at Wang Ying's frying hair, and felt unusually happy. She is the inheritor of a family of traditional Chinese medicine. The pain on Wang Ying's body is precisely what she used to pierce with acupuncture. Generally, a Chinese medicine practitioner who has no Taoist practice can't see it at all, not to mention a half-hearted wandering doctor like Li Er. Wang Ying, this boring loss is to eat. Now the neighbors have completely turned against Nianyang's camp. Seeing Wang Ying's expression is full of contempt. It turned out to be a pretense. It's too heartless. In order to make Gu Area drop out of school, the mother actually slapped her face and slandered her daughter. Wang Ying is too impersonal, is Nianyang her daughter? The design made us almost misunderstand that Nianyang is unfilial, which is obviously going to ruin this girl. Gu Area is so unlucky to have such an eccentric mother on the stall, my father doesn't care, and my sister is even more unreliable. The old lady didn't slander her. The old lady is telling the truth. Are you all blind? Can't you straighten your back without seeing the old lady's pain? Why do you still believe the words of that bitch? Seeing everyone not believing in themselves, Wang Ying's eyes were red with anger, and she roared angrily, while her hatred for Nianyang deepened. She didn't know why it was the dead girl who made her whole body hurt, but Li Er didn't check it out. She thought it must be the unfortunate physique of this mortal star. Looking at Wang Ying so angry that he died on the spot, Nianyang couldn't wait to laugh. The original owner was slandered by Wang Ying many times in his previous life, and no one believed the original owner at that time, no matter how he explained it now. Then she will let Wang Ying feel the feeling of being cast aside and abused by everyone, unable to argue and helpless. The heroine is pretending to be slapped in the face, the road to becoming rich is about to begin, please ask for tickets. End of this chapter. Rebirth, The Doctor's Sweet Wife Chapter 9, Space Plugin 2. Chapter 9 Space Plugin 2. The neighbors became more and more excited. Wang Ying lost his mind. Gu Nianyang, you little bastard. So what if I abuse you? You are too embarrassed to say that I am partial to your sister. You don't take care of yourself by peeing. Your sister is prettier than you, and her grades are 100 times better than yours. In the future, she will be able to pass the university entrance exam well for the Gu family to shine on the lintel. What are you? Stupid like a pig, who failed the exam, what face do you have to continue studying? If I knew you were so useless, my mother should have drowned you in a urinal when you were born. When the old lady gave birth to you, you almost lost your life because of the dystocia. If you were a good son, it turned out to be a girl movie, which made the old lady spend a lot of money in confinement for a month longer than others. Even the family's family, the land has been sold. I really gave birth to you in vain, it is better to give birth to a dog. Gu Yuandao saw that Wang Ying directly exposed his true nature, which made the neighbors even more disgusted with their family, and shouted angrily, enough, you stinky motherfucker, shut up for Lao Tzu, and you don't think it's good enough, right? You, Lao Gu, you actually yelled at me, is it easy for me to pay for this family? Wang Ying glared at Gu Yuandao aggrievedly, turned and ran away angrily. Gu Yuandao embarrassedly said to everyone, I'm sorry, I made everyone laugh. Everyone waved their hands. Uncle Gu, you have to pay attention in the future, these palms and backs are full of flesh, you can't let your second girl be wronged. As soon as he was old, he had to listen to the scolding, and Gu Yuandao's face suddenly turned into a pig's liver color. In order to save his image, he could only say in a low voice, yes, that's natural, my daughter-in-law is confused, I will take care of her in the future, and I will treat the two girls equally in the future. Uncles and aunts, thank you for helping me talk, but my dad is usually busy and doesn't know about my mother's abuse of me. Nianyang said this not to whitewash Gu Yuandao, but she will be at Gu's house next. After living for a while, one cannot completely offend Gu Yuandao. Gu Yuandao was ready to be pointed at his spine for discussion in the future, but he didn't expect the younger daughter to explain it to him, and he felt less resentment towards the younger daughter. Nianyang, but Dad, you said that you will treat my sister and me the same in the future. Do you mean that I can eat as much as my sister in the future, and I don't need to wear clothes that my sister doesn't want, and can I wear new clothes? Only then did the neighbors notice that Nianyang was wearing whitewashed school uniforms all the year round, or Gu Yulan's clothes, but Gu Yulan wore new clothes every now and then. And the two sisters were standing together. Gu Yulan was wearing a beautiful and fashionable plaid skirt, her skin was white, her body was round, her lips were red and her teeth were white. Gu Yulan noticed that the neighbors were looking at her indifferently for Nianyang, and her delicate face was stiff for a moment. She wondered when she was not liked by everyone because of Nianyang, and she felt uncomfortable in her heart, but she spoke with understanding on the surface. Yang, if you like it, you can wear the new skirt in my closet if you want. Nianyang looked excited. Really, sister? Can I eat meat after you eat it? Can I also use the vanishing cream and beautiful headband that Mom bought for you? Look at the stupid things you said. You are my sister, of course you can use it. In the past, it was my sister who was wrong, and I didn't care about you. In the future, my sister will definitely be nice to you. Gu Yulan said softly. How could such a selfish person be willing to give her own things to this sister who had been a slave all along? Gu Yuandao also said the scene. Yang, Dad is the master, you will also have a share of what your sister has in the past. Thank you Dad, thank you sister. Nianyang was so excited as if she got candy, and the neighbors who watched it felt sour again. This silly girl, who should have gotten what she should have according to common sense, can be so happy. Looking at Nianyang's smiling face, Gu Yulan secretly hated. How could things develop like this? Shouldn't Gu Nianyang successfully drop out of school to serve their family, and then give all the family's money to go to university? How did it become that everything in the house will be shared by them in the future? As a stupid pig like Gu Nianyang, how can he deserve the same treatment as her? The heroine's plug-in will come out next. I know that many readers who like chronology don't like to give the heroine a golden finger, but you don't have to rush to make a statement. The heroine of this article is very smart, scheming, and of course very powerful. She knows how to disarm bombs and medical skills, courageous and resourceful. The golden finger is just an addition to her. It will not make the heroine seem useless. Everyone can read it with confidence. It's the weekend again. Everyone have a good holiday. If you like this book, remember to comment and vote, otherwise you will feel like you are on a standalone machine. End of this chapter. Rebirth, The Doctor's Sweet Wife Chapter 10, Space Plugin 3. Chapter 10 Space Plugins 3. When he got home, Gu Yuandao looked very bad, and he went to the yard to slaughter pig grass without saying a word. Nianyang won the battle, and happily took the teapot on the table and poured herself a glass of water. Gu Yulan stared at Nianyang and said, Yang, what happened to you today? Did you hear Jiang Tian tell you again? What? She didn't believe that overnight, her useless sister would fight back on her own. Someone must have stirred up divisions. And who else is this person other than Jiang Tian, the daughter of the eldest uncle and aunt? Gu Nianyang is the one that hurts the most, especially Jiang Tian, who has the most heart, and has encouraged Gu Nianyang to resist her many times. Convinced? Sister, what do you mean? Why don't I understand? Nianyang raised his head and swallowed a few saliva, feeling his throat comfortable, and asked stupidly. In order to take revenge better in the future, she will return all the torment the original owner has suffered. She will not tear her face off with Gu Yulan now, and it will be less fun. Gu Yulan complained, Yang, we are sisters, there is something to tell my sister. How can I listen to outsiders to deal with my family? You said that you are so ugly today. How will my sister and my parents behave in the future? Nianyang said with a half-smile, Sister, do you also know that we are sisters? That mother went to town yesterday to buy a lock to lock me in my room. Why don't you help me? You just want to. Am I dropping out? Gu Yulan's face changed slightly, and then she said aggrieved, I didn't know Mom would do this, who made you fail the exam every time you have no prospects. Mom may think that you won't be able to pass the exam, so I don't want you to waste time. Bar. Well, for a very good and powerful reason, this White Lotus mouth can speak quite well. No wonder the original owner was so miserably tricked by her in her previous life. Nianyang covered the sneer in his eyes and smiled and said, "Okay, then I'll trust you for the time being, but sister, didn't you say that you will give me half of the new clothes and headband cream? You should give it to me now." Gu Yolan's expression stiffened. "What's the matter, sister? Didn't you feel very refreshed in front of everyone just now? Now you regret it?" Nianyang played with his fingers and liked the feeling of exploiting the White Lotus. "Dang, of course not, I'll go get it for you." Gu Yulan tried her best to smile at Nianyang, and reluctantly gave Nianyang half of the clothes and headband cream in her room, and then lied down aggrieved, weeping softly on the table, as if being bullied by God. If she were to be the original owner at this moment and saw Gu Yulan crying, she would definitely go up and coax her and return all the things in her hand, but now. Nianyang didn't even look at Gu Yulan, she went back to her house with the things in her hands. Gu Yulan cried for a while without waiting for Nianyang to comfort her. She looked up and found that everyone was gone. She gritted her teeth angrily. "Gu Nianyang, wait for me." Nianyang entered the room and threw Gu Yulan's things to the ground. She was used to seeing good things in her previous life, so how could she see Gu Yulan's trash, and that White Lotus flower was her treasure? The reason why she wanted these was just to add to Gu Yolan's block. Nianyang started to abuse the original owner non-stop as soon as she wore it today, which would relax her nerves and feel tired after a high fever, so she quickly went to the Kong to rest. It's just that the environment in this room is too bad. Nianyang's bones hurt from the bed board under him. Fortunately, Nianyang has done countless frontier missions in his previous life, slept in big trees and slept on stone roads, which is still bearable. And this family is too poor. Nianyang was used to eating and wearing good things in her previous life, and now it is a bit uneasy for her to return to the time before liberation. But that's fine, just consider it a different way of life. In her previous life, in order to survive, she opened up a company to become the richest man in China, and went to defuse bombs outside the war for the country to practice medicine and save people. She had almost no personal space of her own, and finally died in an explosion. In the next life, Nianyang doesn't want to make her life so tired anymore. She just wants to simply study Chinese medicine and carry forward the inheritance of her ancestors. Thinking, Nianyang fell asleep in a daze, and suddenly felt a fierce heat in her heart. She opened her eyes and was brought into a whirlpool by a burst of white light. Good weekend, please ask for tickets. More than 500 daily recommended tickets will be added. Dear ones, please work hard, be careful. End of this chapter.